Hey everyone, Bella Hilton here from Studio Fertility. Welcome to this brand new year, this 2021, where hopefully what we learned about ourselves in 2020 we can actually put into action and practice this year. And this probably goes on a global scale, right? So today I wanted to get on here and talk to you all about IVF. Now, I did IVF a number of times, so I have a lot of knowledge or personal experience in this area. And I keep seeing time and time again in the fertility Facebook support groups, women who are actually scared of the IVF process, who may not have done it before. And it worries me. This is why I'm on here today. Now, I'm sure there are many different reasons, though, that women are scared of it who haven't experienced it before. So I get it. And if you haven't experienced before and you're scared, please, I'd love to hear from you so I can actually address those specific fears in more detail. It might be needles, for example, because yes, you do have to have many injections and blood tests. That's just par for the course. But I don't think this is a process that you actually need to be afraid of. I think you just need to set yourself up correctly for it so that the process is actually special for you and your partner and that you focus on the right things. And I know that seems a bit far-fetched to say to make it special. But I think that you can make the IVF process really special. The approach you take to IVF can make a huge difference to your experience of it and, quite honestly, your outcomes. Imagine these two different scenarios, okay? Imagine you have one person who is just terrified, anxious, desperate. She finally decides to do IVF because she's desperate to have her baby, but she thinks she's giving up. She feels less than because she never conceived naturally. She doesn't feel aligned to the process of IVF, and she basically just isn't accepting of it. She's terrified of needles, and that's all she focuses on, even elements of that. Or take the woman who embraces this technology, is open to this method being what brings her her baby. She creates ceremony out of the injections and involves her partner or husband. They attend all the appointments together where reasonable, making it something that they do together. They co-create the space that goes into IVF. And that even goes for my single ladies out there who just want to have a support person with them. She lets herself feel nurtured and cared for by the nurses and her doctor, who she knows 100% is on her team because she did her homework, who doesn't spend the time focusing on the numbers and going down rabbit holes on Google forums because she understands every cycle is different and the numbers don't mean that much. She instead focuses on taking care of herself and her spirit and emotions throughout the process and stays connected to herself and her partner, perhaps going on romantic date nights and generally enjoying themselves. Yes, I said enjoying themselves through the IVF process. I kind of think this is imperative. Now, who is likely to have a better outcome in those two scenarios? We know being depressed, anxious, and completely stressed out can greatly affect your fertility. Let this be a process that brings you and your partner together no matter what happens, right? Now, I guess I just want to come on here because I just want to tell you, I suppose, that you have no reason to be scared. I want to allay those fears for you. I want to take them away. When it comes to the medical side, there is not one thing to be scared about. Now, if you have a fear of needles or anything like that, go and deal with that first before you start. Get that out of the way. Don't make that a barrier to what you can experience through the IVF process. You can work with a hypnotherapist or an NLP practitioner, both of which will be able to help you here. And I know because I am both, okay? So get into a good headspace to allow yourself to relax or find that soft place to fall, knowing you're in good hands. And if you're not in good hands, like I said, then change your clinic or at least change your doctor. I didn't change clinics, but I certainly changed my doctor at one point because of a few kind of ridiculous things he said to me at ridiculous moments, just earworms, right, that I couldn't get rid of, which is not what you want. And frankly, I decided he could no longer be on my team after that. Getting into the right headspace before you start IVF is crucial. In fact, I tend to think people should be, or this is, I aim for my clients to be excited before they start. It's no guarantee, but when you start this process, there's a real potential here for having a baby. That's freaking exciting, okay? Plus, being in the right headspace allows you to make decisions along the way. Because sometimes you have to make quick, time-sensitive decisions that aren't going to wait 2 weeks for you to debate it with yourself and everybody you know and twist yourself up in knots. I mean, that used to be my decision-making process. I don't know about you. And you want to be confident you're making the best decisions possible. I teach my clients early on how to make decisions for themselves so they always feel good, even when they're looking back, even when they're having to reassess those situations for themselves. For me, I chose to see IVF as a celebration of true love. Nothing is left to chance when you conceive a baby via IVF. It's a very deliberate act. And so I chose to see this as like the ultimate expression of love, of creating a child, because it was very deliberate. It wasn't the traditional way, but let's face it, sex can sometimes be very unromantic and not a great expression of love when you have to schedule it in and force yourself when you've been trying to have a baby for so long, am I right? And no matter what happened with my cycles, the thing I remember is the love that existed and the care that my husband and I had for each other during this time. We were truly in it together. Now, it really is okay to be apprehensive or have some anticipation of the unknown, right? If you've never done something before, then you don't know what to expect. And there's always those kind of first-time jitters with things. But I want you to look at this as more like treating it more like, for want of a better term actually, an exciting creative project you're working on together, rather than a visit to the dentist. So you see the difference here. Because when you focus on it in a different way and you're actually turn that being scared into excitement, it's definitely going to help you manage your first time jitters. It's definitely going to help you manage the process and experience it in a far more fulfilling way. And just scheduling care and love for yourself and your partner and for your relationship. Now, if you are having trouble getting into the right headspace, because I know it's not that easy, please get the support you need, before, during, and after, no matter what happens. Because I saw too many women in stages of, I can only describe it as total meltdown in those waiting rooms. They were suffering, okay? Invest in your mental and emotional health because firstly, it actually greatly improves your chances of conception. And secondly, no one wants to be miserable and suffer, right? So it's a win-win, getting into this right headspace. And if you are scared of IVF still, please drop me a line at bella.hilton@studiofertility.com and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And let me know what you're scared of so we can deal with it. And I'll see you next time on 5 Minutes with Bella.